Countdown. Ready? Now your
We're
QI
going
not
in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Good morning, everyone. It is Read Across Jamaica Day 2022. My name is Charnel Henry, and I will be your host for our live reading session this morning, brought to you by the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica. We at the JIS are so happy that you could join us. Welcome to the parents and teachers who have joined us online. Special welcome to the boys and girls who are tuned in to the JIS on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. This morning, you will be hearing wonderful stories read by Mrs. Lorraine Walker-Mendez, manager at the JIS Radio Department, Mrs. Lisa Rowe, Public Relations Executive, and Mr. Jeremy Lee Nelson, writer, producer, presenter, also in the JIS Radio Department. It is said that a child who reads becomes an adult who thinks, and that the mind once stretched by a new idea never goes back to its original dimension. Today, Read Across Jamaica Day 2022 is being observed under the theme, Revisiting the Foundation. Reading is fundamental. It's a building block to developing healthy and rich vocabularies in our children. Fostering a love for reading helps in the development of effective communication skills used throughout a person's entire lifetime. Reading teaches our children also how to express themselves. It increases their memory capacity and it sets them up for success, teaching them how to communicate effectively. Read Across Jamaica Day is observed during Education Week and is an initiative of the Jamaica Teachers Association to promote reading and literacy in Jamaica. Today, we will enjoy stories from the Ministry of Education's Dr. Bird reading series, which has been read, in many schools for many years. So children, whether you have been reading these stories for a while, or this is the first time that you'll be hearing them, just sit back, relax, and listen as our readers take you through these exciting, wonderful Jamaican stories. We will now have our first reading done by the manager of the JIS Radio Department, Mrs. Lorraine Walker-Mendez, and she will read a story titled, Can Annie Make Friends? Let's read.
Thank you, Charnel. It was Annie's first day at this school. She was a little afraid at first, but Miss Spence, the teacher, was nice to her and showed her where to sit. "This is Annie," said Miss Spence to the class. "She has just moved into town. I know that you will make her feel at home." The boys did not pay her any attention, but some of the girls had kind faces. Annie started to feel better. She missed her friends from the other school, and she wanted to make new friends. The first class of the day was reading. The teacher was calling on all of the children to read. They made many mistakes. Then she called on a girl named Lena. Lena was a tall girl. She looked smart, but she did not have a kind face. She read in a loud voice and only made 3 mistakes. "Thank you, Lena," said Miss Spence. "That was good. I wish more of you children would read like Lena." Lena looked around in a very boastful way. "Now," said Miss Spence, "let us see what you can do, Annie." Annie did not know she would have to read on her first day. She was frightened of reading in front of all the children. She started in a small voice, but as she read, she became braver. She read well and did not make any mistakes. "Very good, Annie," said Miss Spence. "You did not make any mistakes." Annie was very happy and proud that she had done well on her first day. Then she saw Lena's face. Lena's face looked vexed and ugly, and Annie did not know why. At lunchtime, Annie looked for somebody to talk to. She wanted to be friendly. To her surprise, nobody looked like they wanted to talk to her. Most of the girls walked around with Lena. Not even the girls with kind faces would talk to Annie. Annie tried to show that she did not mind, but she was sad. The next day, things were no better. Lena made more than 3 mistakes in reading, but Annie did not make any. Lena looked very angry. At lunchtime, Lena and the other girls played games, but nobody would play with Annie. In classes, it was also bad. If Annie said anything, the girls would laugh and make funny sounds. This happened day after day. Miss Spence knew what was happening. So one day when the girls laughed at Annie, she talked to them. "That is enough," she said. "You are foolish children. We must be nice to our new friends." When Lena saw that Miss Spence was kind to Annie, she was even more angry. After school, Lena told the other girls bad things about Annie, and she began to tease her. What a way this new girl is bossy," shouted Lena. "She thinks she can read better than us. What a way she's boasty." "Yes," said the other girls, "what a way she's boasty." Annie tried not to, but at last she started to cry. Lena was happy to see Annie cry. She teased her even more. "Cry, cry! Annie is a nanny! Annie is a nanny!" One big boy felt sorry for Annie. He said to Lena, "Why are you doing that? Leave the new girl alone. She's not troubling you." "Boy, mind yourself," shouted Lena. "This has to do with the girls. Walk off." Even the big boy was afraid of Lena. He went away to play with the boys. Nobody could help Annie. Lena and the girls just went on shouting, "Annie is a nanny! Annie is a nanny!" Annie cried all the way home. She had not done anything wrong, but she could not make friends. When she got home, her mother and father saw how sad she was. "What is wrong, Annie?" said her mother. "I don't want to go to school tomorrow," replied Annie. "But why?" "I don't like school, Mama," she said. "But Annie," said her mother, "you have always liked school." Annie started to cry again. She did not know what to say. "Why are you crying, little Annie?" asked her father. "Aren't the children nice to you?" "No," replied Annie in a small voice. "They are not kind to me. I want to be friends, but they tease me." "But why do they tease you?" he asked. "I think it's because I read better than Lena," said Annie. "Who is this girl, Lena?" asked her mother. "She's the girl who was the best reader in the class," said Annie. "But now I am the best because I don't make any mistakes, so they say I am boasty. But I am not. Maybe if I try to read badly, they will like me." "What?" said her father. "No, Annie, you are a good reader. You are to be proud of that. We know you are not boastful. You must not try to make mistakes. You would not be honest with yourself if you did that." "But what am I to do?" cried Annie. "Lena and the girls tease me and say Annie is a nanny." "Well, that is foolish of them," said her father. "Nanny was a great woman." "But I don't think they mean that, Nanny," said Annie. "They mean I am foolish like a nanny goat." "Oh," laughed her father. "Well, you just tell them that Nanny was a great woman. Nanny was brave, and you must be brave." Annie did not know if that would stop them, but she thought that she would go to school after all. She would have to try to be brave. The next day at school, Miss Spence called on the children to read. Lena read and made 3 mistakes. Then it was Annie's turn to read. As she was reading, Lena threw a paper ball at her. It hit Annie on her back. She jumped and made a mistake. "Annie made a mistake," Lena said in a quiet voice. "Annie is a nanny." The children laughed. Lena thought Miss Spence had not heard, but Miss Spence had heard. She also saw when the paper ball hit Annie. "Who did that?" she called out. Nobody said anything. "The girl who did that must be honest and say so," said Miss Spence. The class became very quiet. The boys looked at the girls. They were happy to see that Miss Spence had caught up with them, and the girls looked at Lena. They wondered what would happen. Miss Spence knew that it was Lena, but Miss Spence wanted her to be honest and say that she had done it. "Annie," asked Miss Spence, "do you know who is teasing you?" Annie was afraid to say anything. Then she said to herself, "I must be brave." "I think so," said Annie, "but I do not want to tell on her." "She's calling me Nanny," Annie went on, "but Nanny was a brave woman. I do not know if this girl is brave enough to say she did it. The children looked surprised. They wondered what would happen now. Nobody had ever said something like that about Lena. You are right, Annie, said Miss Spence. Nanny was a great Jamaican. We are proud of that. It is wrong to tease anybody by calling her Nanny, and it is wrong to tease any child at any time. Still, Lena said nothing. She was trying to look as if she had not done anything. But the children knew that she was not brave enough. They began to call out, Lena, it is you! Say so! It is you! Lena started to cry. I didn't mean to do it, she said in a small voice. Well, you have done wrong, Lena, said Miss Spence. But the rest of you girls are also wrong. You also teased Annie. You must help a new girl feel at home. Lena is to say she is sorry for what she did today. Lena did not want to say she was sorry, but she said it because she was afraid that the other girls might not be her friends. They were vexed with her now because they were all in trouble. At lunchtime, the girls all wanted to talk to Annie. Nobody wanted to talk to Lena. Annie was happy. She felt Lena was a bad girl, but it was her turn to show that she could be kind. So she said to the girls, let us all be friends. Lena was not happy about this, but she was still afraid that the other girls would not play with her. So she went to talk with them and tried to be nice. From that day on, all the girls wanted to play with Annie. Annie had made friends after all.
Thank you, Mrs. Walker Mendez. Who remembers what it's like being the new child at school and not having any friends? Remember, friendships are very important, and friendships help children to develop important life skills such as how to get along with other people and how to handle conflicts. As we've heard on this story, Annie did very well, and I'm sure the boys and girls here at school watching us from home as well, that are watching us online, will also do very well. Special commendations to the teachers who are fair and just like Miss Spence and stand up for what is right, teaching the children to be honest at all times. Special commendations also to the children who know the importance of making a new child feel welcome at school. I want to also remind you that in a few months, some of you will be starting a new grade, a new school, and you will be around children you've never seen or encountered before. Remember to be kind, remember to be friendly, and always share. It's good to say nice things to others. It's also good to help others in areas where you are strong and they are not. So just as how Lena was the strong reader in her class, Lena could have helped Annie to become a great reader too, even though Annie did it on her own. It's important that you help others. And parents, you also play a very important role in how children develop friendships at school. So teach them the right lessons that they need to learn from home. Teach them how to interact with other children their age so that when they get to school, starting September morning, for the new students who will be going to new schools, they will know how to make those friendships that will last them through their entire year at primary school or even high school. And some of those friendships we know will last into a lifetime. Remember also, for those persons who are joining us on our Facebook page, that you can make comments on our Facebook page during that live stream. Read Across Jamaica Day 2022 is something that we want to be very interactive. So make your comments on Facebook and we will surely read them so that we can have an interactive session. I would like to know which parishes are represented, so tell me in the chat where you're joining from. Also, YouTube. Join us on our YouTube channel, Jamaica Information Service, and comment there and let us know which parish you're joining from. I'd also like to know which schools are being represented on our live stream, right? Now, as we prepare to read our second story for the morning, please remember that all chats are open and we're open to hearing comments on the story that we just heard. Can Annie make friends? Now, we will be hearing our second story from Mrs. Lisa Rowe, Public Relations Executive at the Jamaica Information Service, and she will be reading the story, Good Follows Good. Thank you, Charnel. Good follows good. There were many people at the bus stop. School was over, and the children were waiting for their bus. There were also big people waiting there. Some of the big people were reading newspapers while others were talking. The children were laughing and playing. Everybody was doing something to forget how long it was taking the bus to come. But nobody was paying attention to the old woman who was asking for a bus fare. "Please, somebody help me with a bus fare," said the old woman over and over again. After a while, Willie came to the bus stop to take the bus. His school was over and he was going home. He soon heard the voice of the old woman asking for a bus fare. Willie saw her standing and holding out her hands, but he could see that no one was paying attention to her. Everybody was talking, reading, laughing, or playing. Willie stood there looking at the old woman. She was very old and held her back with one hand. He was sorry for the old woman. She looked too old to walk very far. "One day I will be very old too," thought Willie, "and I might need help like this old woman. Will people help me when I am old?" Willie stood there for a while, looking at the old woman. "I wish I could help with a fare," thought Willie, "but I only have my own bus fare." After a long time, the bus came. Everybody ran to the door and pushed. They nearly pushed down the old woman as she held out her hand. "Will somebody please help me with a bus fare?" said the old woman as everybody pushed to get into the bus. Willie wanted to go into the bus, but then he looked back at the old woman. He could not move. Everybody was leaving her at the bus stop. He felt very sorry for her. Then Willie thought quickly, "She cannot walk very far. She's too old, but I am young and strong. I cannot be like the others who are not paying any attention to her. If I walk, I will soon reach home. It would be fun too." Nearly all the people had gone into the bus. Willie walked over quickly to the old woman. "Here is the bus fare, miss," he said. "Come quickly and let me help you get into the bus before it moves off." Willie held her hand and followed her to the door of the bus. As she sat down, she looked back and smiled. "May God bless you, my son," she said. "May you live and never want." The bus bell rang and the door shut. Then the bus moved off, leaving Willie standing alone at the bus stop. Willie started to walk home. He walked on the back roads. This way, his walk was not very long. Soon, he was home. Many days passed, and Willie had almost forgotten about the old woman. One day, he wanted to reach home early. So, after school, Willie ran quickly to the bus stop. As he ran, he saw a bus. The people at the stop were getting into the bus. He did not want it to move off and leave him. He ran and jumped into the bus so quickly that he forgot to look at the number. After riding for a while, Willie looked out the window. He saw that the bus was driving on a road he did not know. "Oh, I must be on the wrong bus," Willie said to himself. He quickly rang the bell and got off at the next stop. "No, I do not have any money to take another bus," said Willie. He started walking down the road. He did not know where he was going or how he would get a bus fare. Soon, he came to a market. "I must go in the market and ask somebody to tell me how I can find my way home," he thought. So he walked into the market and looked around. He saw an old woman and a boy selling fruits in a corner. The woman was sitting and looking down into her basket. Willie walked over to the old woman and the little boy. "Please, miss," he said, "can you tell me how to get to White Road?"
The old woman looked up at him slowly. To Willie's surprise, it was the same old woman he had helped at the bus stop. "But wait," she said. "You are the little boy who helped me one day at the bus stop. You were the only one who paid me any attention." "Yes," said Willie. "How are you?" "I am okay," said the old woman. "And this is my grandson, Albert. He helps me with my fruit basket." Willie and Albert looked at each other and smiled. "What are you doing down here?" said the old woman to Willie. Willie began to tell her how he had taken the wrong bus and had to get off. He told her he did not know where he was and that he had no more bus fare. He wanted to know where he could walk to go home. "Where are you going?" Trevor asked. "To the new housing scheme." Let's take that back. "Oh, I see," said the old woman. "Well, here is enough money to take 2 buses home. Albert will follow you to the bus stop to catch the first bus. He will tell you where to get off to catch the other bus you need to get home." Willie did not know what to say. After a while, he smiled. "I did not know I would ever see you again, miss," he said. "Yes, son," said the old woman. "That is how life is. If you do good in life, good will follow you. Here are some fruits. They are very sweet." Willie was very happy that he had done a good thing. He did not dream that one day the same person he helped would be the one to help him. Willie thanked the old woman and said goodbye. Then he and Albert ran off to the bus stop. The end.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Rowe. You see how important it is to do good in life? Remember, there's a Jamaican saying, once you do good, good will follow you. And you never know when you will be in need of some good. And when you will encounter someone who actually needs some good from you. It was a wonderful story, don't you think? I want you to talk to us. Say something in the comments section on Facebook and YouTube, and let us know what you think of the characters of the story. Remember to tell us where you're tuning in from, which parish, and also which school you're representing. Give us a shout out and let us know. While you're at it, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page. Let us go into the second story for this morning, and this story is a classic. This story is well known, well, to me at least, and I'm sure some of the teachers and the parents online know this story as well. It is Catwoman and the Spinning Wheel. The third story, my apologies. It's going so good, the numbers are seeming a little, off to me. But Catwoman and the Spinning Wheel is a story that a lot of parents would know and teachers as well. This particular story is one that it has a Jamaican spin to it, and I can't wait for us, the readers, to tell you all of the niceness that's going to happen with Catwoman and her mythical spinning wheel. I'm going to now turn to our Facebook page and our YouTube channel and share some of what you guys have been saying, because I know after hearing 2 stories, there's a lot that you have to say about these characters. I'm seeing here Marie Hilton is joining from the Mount Olivet Primary School in Manchester. Shout outs to you, Marie, and thank you for joining. I hope you and the students you're joining with are enjoying this morning's proceedings. I'm also seeing here that we have some schools from Kingston. We do have high schools joining us. I'm seeing the Arden High and Immaculate Conception High School. I do believe some of these students may be joining us from home while they are preparing for the upcoming CXC and CAPE examinations. Continue to let us know what you think of the stories, the characters you're hearing about, and the parish and school that you're joining us from. We're now going to move on to the third story. Again, this story is Catwoman and the Spinning Wheel. And this story will be read to us by Mr. Jeremy Lee Nelson, who is the writer, producer, presenter in the radio department. I know this story is going to be very exciting, so Mr. Nelson, just take it away.
Thank you, Charnel. The Catwoman and the Spinning Wheel. Once upon a time, there was a man who was going a far way. He had been walking through the woodland for days. He was very tired and hungry. Suddenly, he came upon a little house. He said to himself, "I wonder if there is anyone at that house. I am so hungry. I would give anything to have a piece of cornmeal pudding right now." Just as he said this, a woman came out of the house. Her skin was pretty and her eyes were black as coal. When she walked, she looked as if she was dancing. "Oh, what a lovely woman," the man said to himself. "I have never seen anyone so lovely." The woman laughed and said, "You look so tired and hungry. Would you like to stop and have something to eat?" The man and the woman went into the house, and the woman pulled out a coal pot. Then she cooked a good dinner of saltfish and cornmeal pudding. After dinner, she told him to stay and rest for a little. He thought he was very lucky to get food. "Thank you, you're so kind," he said. "But I do not want to give you any trouble, so I will go on my way." "It is no trouble," she replied. "I am always happy to help people." So he stayed to rest. The next day, she gave him food again. She made cornmeal pudding and rice with meat. She was so kind that he forgot where he was going. Every day the woman gave him good food and was nice to him. So he stayed for a long, long time. The man was so happy that he made her his wife. All went well for a time. Then he began to wonder about the woman. He thought that something was funny. He thought something funny was happening. Sometimes he would get up at night and he would not see her. He wondered where she was. He thought he would try to watch her and see what was happening. So, one night he went to bed, but he did not sleep. He shut his eyes so the woman would think he was sleeping. As soon as she thought he was sleeping, she jumped out of bed. She pulled out the coal pot and she lit it. She took a spinning wheel from the corner of the room and put it beside the coal pot. All this time the man was watching her from the corner of his eye. He wondered what she was going to do. Soon the coal pot was red hot. The woman sat on it. She began to spin off her skin using the spinning wheel. As she did this, she sang, "Turn and spin, come off skin. Turn and spin, come off skin." To the man's surprise, the woman's skin came off, and suddenly she turned into a great big cat. She put her skin under the bed and said, "Stay there, skin, till I come back. I'm going out to have some fun." Then the Catwoman jumped through the window and ran into the woodland. The man opened his eyes and thought about what he had seen. He now knew that the woman was bad. "I must think of a way to get away from this woman," he said to himself. So he took out her skin. Then he found some salt and pepper. He filled the skin with the salt and pepper. Then he put it back under the bed. He went to bed so that the woman would think he was sleeping. After a time, the woman came back. She had enjoyed herself and she was laughing. She laughed as she took out her skin from under the bed. She laughed as she began to put on her skin. But suddenly, she stopped laughing. The pepper and salt began to burn her. She looked ugly as she began to bawl, "Woy! Woy!" She tried to get out of her skin, but she could not. She bawled and she bawled as the salt and pepper burned her more and more. Then she turned around and fell down dead. And that is how the man got away from the Catwoman.
Wasn't that an exciting story? What exactly could Catwoman have been up to in the nights? Tell us what you think. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you an extra special challenge or an assignment for the students who are listening on social media. I want you to tell me what you would have done if you were the man and saw Catwoman spinning off her skin in the night. Tell me also what you think she got up to in the night. Can you imagine being able to shape-shift? You would be able to become anything you want. If you are interested in cats or you like cats, you could become a cat at night, just like Catwoman. Or if you like dogs, you could become a dog at night and guard your home and keep your family safe. You could be just about anything you want. So, boys and girls, here's what I want you to do for me. Jump onto our Facebook page in the comment section and tell me what you would do if you could take your skin off and shapeshift into something else. While you're at it, tell me as well what it is that you think Catwoman got into at nights when she left the house and went out to have some fun. What do you think she was doing? I'm very interested to know. So, we have one more story for you. And this story will be read by somebody that you saw already this morning, a very familiar face. And that is Mrs. Lorraine Walker Mendez. And she will read the final story for this morning, and it is called Sound at the Window. Welcome again, Mrs. Walker Mendez.
Thank you, Charnel. Sam came running into the front room. His eyes looked big and frightened. "Somebody's at the window," he said. Dennis and Mary were reading at the table. They looked at Sam with surprise. "What are you talking about?" asked Dennis. "Somebody is knocking at the window," replied Sam in a low, frightened voice. "What window?" asked Mary. "The window in the bedroom," replied Sam. "I was just going to sleep when I heard somebody knocking." "You were dreaming again," said Mary. "I was not. I tell you, I heard it," cried Sam. "Don't be foolish," said Dennis. "Nobody is at the window at this time of night. You had better go to bed before Mama catches you." "I am not going back alone," said Sam. Just then, their mother shouted from her bedroom, "Sam, is that you? What are you doing out of bed?" "Dennis and Mary are not in bed, Mama," Sam called out. "Well, you are little. You go to sleep first," replied Mama. "Yes, Mama," said Sam, but he did not move. He looked so frightened. "Please come with me," he said to the other children. "Okay," replied Dennis. "I'll come and show you that nobody is there." The children went into their bedroom. Dennis opened the metal louver windows and looked out. "I told you there is nobody there," he said, and he shut the windows again. "But I heard it, I tell you. I heard it," shouted Sam. "Mind Mama hears you," said Mary in a low voice. "I will stay with you till you go to sleep." Sam got into bed, and Mary sat in a corner of the room. But they did not hear any sounds at the window that night. The next morning, Dennis laughed at Sam as they were going to school. "Who knocked on your window, Sam?" he asked. "Did he knock you down?" "I heard a sound," cried Sam. "Oh, stop it," said Mary. "We're going to be late. Hurry up." Sam was happy at school, but that night, as it got late, he started to feel afraid. "What is wrong, man?" asked Dennis. "Are you frightened?" "No, I am not," said Sam, but he tried his best to stay up late. After a while, their mother came into the front room where the children were playing. "Sam," she said, "is that you out of bed? Please go to your room right now." Sam walked slowly into his room and got into bed. It was very dark and very quiet. Sam stayed in his bed for a long time with his eyes open, but he was very tired. Just as his eyes started to shut, he heard the noise again. Sam jumped up and ran into the front room. "Somebody's knocking at the window," he shouted. "Come quickly." They all went into the bedroom. "Oh, man, you're such a foolish boy," said Dennis as he went to open the metal louvers again. Then they heard it, a sound at the window. Nobody moved. They were all frightened now. They heard the sound again. They all turned and ran back into the front room. "I told you," said Sam. "I told you I heard it." "Oh, it must be a tree knocking on the window," said Dennis. He tried to sound very brave. "But there is no tree next to the window," said Mary. I think it's a burglar. A burglar, replied Dennis. Don't be foolish. A burglar is not going to knock at the window. I think it's a duppy, said Sam in a low voice. A duppy, said Mary. There is no such thing as a duppy. Then why didn't we see anybody when Dennis opened the window last night? Asked Sam. Nobody knew what to say to this. Just then, their mother came into the room. She saw how frightened they looked. What has happened to all of you? She asked. We heard a knocking at the bedroom window, Mama, said Mary. A knocking, said their mother. Well, that is what it sounded like, said Dennis. Let us go and look, said their mother. And they all went back into the bedroom. Suddenly, there was the sound again, and then again. The children looked at their mother. Oh, she laughed. That is just the sound of the metal louvers. The metal louvers? Asked Mary. How can they make a sound? Well, I don't know a lot about it, said their mother, but I do know that sometimes at night they make a funny sound. You see, in the day when the sun is out, the metal gets hot. And on such a cool night as this, the metal makes that sound as it cools down. Ask your teacher to tell you more about it when you go to school tomorrow. There's nothing to be afraid of. Now, everybody into bed. It's very late. Well, said Mary as they went to bed, just think of that. Just think of that. I told you it was nothing, said Dennis. But you didn't think so when you heard it, said Sam. You are always calling everybody foolish. You are foolish. You were afraid just like us. I was not afraid, shouted Dennis. Oh, stop it, said Mary. Mind Mama hears us. If we don't go to sleep now, we will be late for school in the morning.
Wow, were you excited? What do you think was making that noise outside the window? I know my imagination was running wild, so yours must have been too. Tell us what you thought it was and leave a comment on our social media pages so that we know you are listening. Did you know that metal expands and contracts and can make sounds? I didn't, and I'm sure your teachers can tell you a little more about it right after our Read Across Jamaica Day live stream today. Now, one thing I need you to tell me, boys and girls, is if you believe in duppies. Please comment on our social media pages and let us know. Have you ever seen a duppy? Do you think you can see duppies? Are duppies even real? Remember, interaction lets us know that you are reading with us and paying attention. And we'll be sure to respond to all your comments and keep the interaction going throughout the day. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for spending with us some of that time so that we could read to you some authentic Jamaican stories. Thanks also to our readers, the planning and production team here at the JIS, and the contributors to the Dr. Bird reading series, Catwoman and the Spinning Wheel. Remember, today a reader, tomorrow a leader. Happy Read Across Jamaica Day, and we do hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Keep reading.